Yes, you don't hear my computer running in the background for once, because the next movie I'm going to talk about, I'm actually just going to talk about it off the cuff, just basic general thoughts. I know it's going to be a bit of a disjointed review because I'm not working off of a script this time, but it's a movie I still want to talk about because it is a movie that I have been meaning to watch for a while, and I finally watched it today. And it's, confusing, to say the least. So, let's not waste any time and talk about it together, shall we? No script, just my off the cuff, unscripted thoughts. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Anime Station, which is your fan animation, including TV and movies as well. I'm your host, Jazz Small. Welcome to another return of 31 Days of Horror marathon review. That means we're talking about yet another horror movie. And as I stated in my last review before we get to the next franchise, because we ended off on such a ranted, stinky turd, I've decided to take this time instead to review movies from this year that I have not reviewed yet. Now, I already covered Salem's Lot, that's one of them. But there are still some that I want to talk about. Not all of them, obviously. I can't fit them all in 1 month. That'd just be crazy, on top of the other stuff I have planned. But I can talk about some of them, such as this one, that actually caught my attention a while ago, mainly thanks to Cody Leach, because until reviews came out, I didn't even know this movie existed. And that is In a Violent Nature. This is one of those different, artsy kind of horror movies that tries to take a bold, new approach to the genre. In this case, it's an entire movie set from the killer's point of view. Yes, the entire movie, we followed the killer instead of the slasher fodder. That is a very interesting idea. And this movie does show that that concept can work in practice. But also in practice, it can be very boring, because since this is entirely from the killer's perspective, a lot of this movie is just watching the killer walking through the woods to stalk his prey. And that's kind of it. There's some amazing gore in here, but that's about it, honestly. Outside of that, it's kind of just a giant walking simulator, and I don't mean that as a bad thing. I can understand what they were going for. Most of horror killers are all about just stalking their prey through the woods. It's a classic horror trope. I understand that. But I feel like they could have done something a little bit different here to make it a little bit more interesting. Now, the gore is amazing, especially the yoga kill, which is by far the best part of the movie. I love the yoga kill so much, and it lived up to all the hype I heard surrounding it from everyone else that reviewed this movie. However, this movie in general is kind of just okay. It's more of a proof of concept than a full-on feature film. Because a lot of the movie, again, is just the killer walking through the woods, and that's about it. And I can't say with certainty that I'm a big fan of that, but I can't say that's terrible either, because since it's not focusing on shitty human characters for once, I don't have to critique their acting, because they're not the main focus here. The main focus is our silent killer. And his design's unique. I do like his design, kind of like Baghead Jason from Friday Part 2, but with a little bit more malice to him. And the kills are very, very good. Like, one of them, the yoga kill, is Terrifier level good. And yes, that is no hyperbole. But outside of that, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this movie, because even after watching it, it's exactly what I expected. It's amazing gore with great kills, and the rest of it is just the killer walking through the woods, with nature sounds or very quiet music playing in the background. Now, I give the movie a lot of credit, because this is another indie horror film that did get big mainstream attention, and that is always a really nice thing to see. Especially with the next film we get to talk about after this. But, as a movie itself, I can't say I'd really revisit it much. I'd watch kill counts on it all the time, because the kills are fucking amazing in this movie, guys. But you do have to wait through a lot of plotting, meandering shit to get there. Now, it's not terrible by any means, but a lot of it is just walking through the woods. If you can tolerate that, then you're in for great gore in between all the walking. But if you're not, then this movie's gonna bore the shit out of you. It's a very different, experimental kind of film, and I think that's what's gonna make this movie very divisive with people. Now, I know that I'm very late to covering this movie, and simply because I didn't have the time when it came out, and I'm sorry. But I'm covering it now, different off the cuff review, because I don't really have a whole lot to say. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and get to my final verdict for the movie, which is going to be a 6 out of 10. It gets that slight bump because the gore and the effects are so good. But outside of that, it's not a great film because a lot of it is just walking through the woods with the killer's back to the camera. If you can deal with that, you're in for a great movie. If you can't, then you're in for something that's going to bore the shit out of you. Make of that what you will. Well, thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this almost every single day. And I'll see you guys next time when we finally cover a movie that I'm sure a lot of you have been waiting for me to talk about. Terrifier 3.